Morning, everyone. That's a little better. Welcome to another really important day, auspicious occasion for our department and our community. Would you please rise for the Fargo Police Department Honor Guard?
Color Guard, present colors. Color Guard, halt, left, face, present colors. And post. Present arms. Order arms. Right, face, forward, mark.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Again, I'd like to thank all of you for being here today and recognize our elected officials who are here. Our honor guard personnel, they do a great job. Department staff, members of other agencies, Sheriff Johnner, thanks for coming. As well as our new officers, soon to be new officers, Muhammad Ali, Marquis Chance, Anthony Essig, Tyler Hawes, Kyla Jackson, Jeremy Ledger, Jake Skelly, Zach Stemmen, and Jake Wallin, as well as our new promotees, Captain Bill Alfelt and Lieutenant Thomas Shaw. Equally important, I'd like to recognize and thank the families of all of these folks, our team members here, because you're certainly a big part of everyone's success. We appreciate you sharing your daughter and son with our department, with the city of Fargo, and with our really noble law enforcement profession. You've done an outstanding job of raising some really good folks, and we're really happy to have them. So let's give the families a round of applause, please. So we have kind of a multi-event going on here today. I'm going to talk about some of the firsts here in a little bit, but we've got an academy graduation of 9 new officers that we're going to swear in. Then we've got their graduation, their swearing, and our little bit of a promotional ceremony. So there'll be many moving parts to this, which will provide opportunities for all of you to get some really great photos and have some really great family experiences. Mayor Mahoney will be here a little bit later in the ceremony, so I'm going to fit him in at the appropriate time. He has some remarks he'd like to make. He got a little bit tied up at another event. So we're going to move right into our class speaker. And so our academy, each time, this is academy number 4, there's a speaker that is identified from the class. And so for Fargo PD class number 4, Tyler Hawes was nominated to be the class speaker. I'm going to invite Tyler to come up and present that class speech.
Hello, everyone. So first, I would like to say thank you to Chief Zabalski for introducing me. It was a very nice introduction. I thought I was going to have a little bit more time to calm down, but we'll get to it. So I promise I will keep it short. I told everyone that I would try and keep it under 5-6 minutes. But I would like to start this speech by thanking those of you that were able to make it out today and those of you watching online. None of us up here would be in this position if it weren't for all of you. I cannot express how grateful we all are for the support you have given to us, whether it was staying up late studying with us, getting up early to help us get ready, putting lunches together to have something healthy to eat, or just listening to us complain about the new ways Officer Essler and Officer Kristan found to motivate us out in the garage at the end of the day. But this doesn't just include the 13 weeks of the academy, but the months and maybe years of preparation that each and every one of us put into achieving this dream. To the friends and families out there wondering why we want to do this job, for us it was simple. It was a calling. Law enforcement is not just a job, but it's a calling to serve others. So, thank you for supporting us in that calling, and thank you for all that you do. We sincerely appreciate the patience you have given us and will give to us, the understanding for the long hours and the weird schedules that will work, and the unwavering support that we receive from all of you. To the instructors, thank you for giving us the foundation from which we will build our careers. You taught us some very tough lessons, you gave us some harsh feedback when needed, but you always showed us that you cared. We were told at the beginning of the academy that you would be pushing us to our limits. For some of us, it was PT. For others, it was academics. And I mean this when I say it. For all of us, it was the taser. But no matter the challenge, you pushed us to face it head on, overcoming all fear. You reminded us that quitting was not and is not an option. You instilled that never quit mentality into us every day. Now, I will briefly tell a story about one of the exercises we did early on in the academy. We were tasked with writing down 3 goals for ourselves. I will tell you mine right now. I wanted to get in better physical shape. I wanted to graduate with a 90% or higher academically. And the most important one to me, I put this in all caps, is I wanted to earn my badge. It's not something that you're given, it's something that you have to earn the privilege to have. To show how much that these instructors cared, we were doing PT one day, and a lot of times the instructors would run PT with us, whether we were going on a fun run that Sergeant Berger really loved to do, or we were doing burpees, push-ups, whatever we were doing that day. But this one happened to be a partner workout, where one of the partners was working out doing burpees and wall sits, whatever it was, and then the other was running 2 laps. As I was running around, I was feeling sorry for myself. I was having a little pity party, and one of the instructors came over to me, and we had a conversation. It was a very moving conversation, and he told me to keep pushing and to not quit on him. He told me to remember my why, and he told me that I had to earn my badge. The reason I'm telling you this is to not highlight or take the spotlight away from anyone today, but it's to show just how much dedication and heart these instructors put into everything that they did. Thank you for all the work that you guys put into this. To my classmates, we made it. Take a second, be proud of it. Take the pictures after the ceremony, hug your families that came, and appreciate all that you have gone through. I am beyond proud of how far each of you have come. This was never easy, but we continued forward and knocked down every challenge we were given. We walked into class that first day, and many of us, being very competitive people, saw our competitors rather than our teammates. As Chief talked about last night at the family night, we did come together as a team, and we became very close. As painful as the taser was, it truly did bring us closer together. We started to get to know each other more and break down those barriers between us. As we moved forward through the academy, we started to talk more. I don't know what's going on. We started to talk more, and we started to get to know each other a little bit more. And we learned a lot about each other. We learned that Jake Skelly really has an issue with filling out the full test. We learned that Jeremy has a lot of weird sayings from Oklahoma that I'm certain he made up that always left Sergeant Berger confused. And most importantly, we learned that Kyla has far too many cats for anyone to own. I am very proud to call you all friends and honored to be working alongside you in the street. Now, since I have the podium, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of advice. Be patient with yourself. It's something we learned when we were young, to be patient with others, and it's something that we will practice every day while we are serving the public. But we will make mistakes, and we will screw up, and it's important to give yourself the same grace that you would give somebody else. Officer Christon said this every day: trust your gut. There's a reason that we have one. Understand that if something is weird for a reason, and you see that. And the most important one for me, and please remember this: if you ever need help, reach out. Call somebody. We have partners for a reason in the street. This is a tough job, and life does not stop while we are on duty. So I'm very proud to be the first one to say, be safe on the street. I'm very proud of you guys. Enjoy this. Thank you, everyone.
Well, we don't practice public speaking at the academy, so again, I think tremendous job there. A lot of really good words of wisdom. Really credit to the caliber of personnel that we have coming on board here at Fargo PD. I'd also like to take a second to recognize and thank our executive staff team who do a lot of work behind the scenes to make this happen. If you could just maybe just stand quickly. Assistant Chief Travis Stefanowicz, Captain Chris Helmick, Deputy Chief Joe Anderson. Those three, along with Captain Alfeld, who's in line to get his promotional ceremony, are kind of the brain trust in operations, if you will. Sometimes we're not at full function, but they do a lot of good work and put in a lot of hours to make sure that the things happen here at the department. We've got a lot going on. I'd also want to thank Lieutenant Troy Hanig. Yes, thank you, sir. And I know you're going to introduce your staff, so I'll let you do that, but just formal recognition of that training and development unit staff who spent many weeks and hours of extra time making sure that these new officers had the very best training, very best mentorship, and we're doing things the correct way. So big credit to them in terms of how the class turned out. You ready? Okay. If you are set, yes. Okay, so I'm going to please welcome Mayor Dr. Tim Mahoney. He's got some remarks he would like to provide as well. Thank you.
Good morning. The Corps just came into town and they're having a big meeting next door. And of course, we're having a flood fight, so it was perfect for them. They came in here, we're having a little flood fight. Oh, good. Well, this is one of my favorite days when we have new police officers coming on board because, again, we're building a good force and we have good people. And we love the challenge the chief takes on and all our team takes on, bring new people to our department. I would like to congratulate our newest officers, our lieutenant and our captain. If we can give them a round of applause. The 11 of you have worked hard to get where you are, and we are very proud of you. You have been challenged mentally and physically. You have committed to memory the proper techniques of safety, effectively serving as a guardian for our community. You have been faced with difficult tasks and challenged in learning a wealth of knowledge. And through all of that, you have persisted and rose to the challenge. That speaks volumes to your character. We are honored to have you here representing the community. One of my commissioners took a ride along last weekend and did not realize the complexity of what you do on a daily basis. Did not realize the encounters, the things that happen, and the things you are challenged with on a daily job of what happens. I'm pleased that he came away from that realizing this isn't as simple a job as they say it is. This is kind of difficult. You got to think a little bit. You got to be challenged a little bit. We are very honored to have you representing our community because our community is a growing community, has many challenges, but we're a fantastic community. Serving our community is not for the faint of heart. Your interactions with people will likely come at one of the worst days of their life. They will look to you to guide them and lift them up. In those difficult times, I urge all of you to think back of why you chose to be an officer. As you embark on the next step of your law career, it is important to remember you will be looked up to as a leader in our community. Always keep this in mind and never forget what it takes to be a leader. Winston Churchill said, "Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. As leaders in our community, you will frequently be asked to go to a podium and talk and give a briefing and talk to our community. People will look for your leadership, look for your guidance, try to figure out what to do. But in these times, it's also important we listen carefully to what people are saying. Did we really get that question right? Are they concerned about their loved one, or is there an issue they're having? How is it that we can help get through their crisis in an easier fashion? So it's very important that you're present in our community and you listen. And the thing I tell the employees of the City of Fargo, every now and then, it'd be nice to have a smile on your face. Don't look like you're going through the worst time of the day, but maybe have a little smile, greet people, be friendly. And true leadership lies in guiding others to success. As the department grows, we're going to have two important officers that have been advanced, Captain Affelt and Lieutenant Shaw. Remember that demonstrating the support you have of our officers will be paramount. As you grow in your new role in the Fargo City Police, you'll be responsible to help keep your officers safe, help to encourage them to grow, and help them become the best officer they are capable of becoming while serving the City of Fargo. It has been said true leadership is guiding others. Everybody's performing at their best, doing the work they're pledged to do, and doing it well. A career in law enforcement in this day is not easy. Officers put themselves in harm's way every day in the pursuit of justice and to the protection of the innocent. When the chief started talking about guardian, I always loved that phrase, because a guardian is kind of a little different sight there, right? When you're a father and a son and you work with your children, you're kind of on the side being a guardian, but yet you have to let them have the freedom to discover what they need to do. As a guardian in our community, everybody doesn't always know what right thing to do. And in a sense, you are going to guide them to the right thing to do. The ones that aren't doing the right thing are going to go a different direction. But you are the pillar of our community that makes our community stand strong and makes it different than any other place in the world. City of Fargo is a fantastic place, and my police force is top force anywhere in the world. When I go out and talk to different mayors and talk to different people, I can't be prouder of one of my teams, and it's my police force. Because I know you're honest, you do a good job, and you do your duty on a daily basis. And other than the complaints I get from the chief, I rarely get a complaint from any of you. But congratulations to everybody today. We're very proud of this event and this day, and welcome to the City of Fargo Police Force.
Thank you, Mayor. As we continue, the next thing here, we for your viewing pleasure, each Academy class puts together a little video of the trials, tribulations, and some of the inner workings of what goes into kind of making a police officer. It gives you an idea about what all of these folks went through the last 13 weeks. A little bird's eye view, a little levity. So we'll play that for you now, and we'll move on to some of our graduation presentations. Thank you.
With this Academy class, we actually brought them in as paid employees. This is the first time we've done something like that. It was a really unique experience because it allowed for maybe some of those people that are looking for a career change, normally wouldn't be able to afford to take 3 months off of work and go unpaid to be able to go through an academy.
One of the biggest things with going into any organization is going to be that understanding of the culture. What are the kind of the unwritten rules, expectations, how do you act? When we were up at the training center, we would look to obviously cultivate that as much as possible. But now since we're in the department, now there's more of that visual of not only interacting with our different officers, detectives, but then seeing how they handle themselves, how they act.
You can go to any academy and learn just what the academy teaches you. But the larger part of all of that is how you apply the law, how you apply department policy. And so coming out of a general academy, you have no basis. Joining our team right away, from day one, we steep them in our vision, mission, and values, our organizational culture, our theories on law enforcement philosophy, how we police, why we police, how we hold ourselves and others accountable. And that is integrated throughout the whole academy. So not only do they get the North Dakota Post mandates and classes, but they, above and beyond that, get all of the other pieces that make them a part of our Fargo PD team.
Traffic stops, we've learned, is one of the most important things that we do in law enforcement because it's really the baseline of community policing. It's one of the most interactive spaces you can have one-on-one time with actual members of your community. So it really gets you that experience and practice to be able to communicate with people, learn a little bit about their background, what they understand, what they don't understand, and use it as a teaching opportunity.
Yeah, I think the number one takeaway is just to always treat people with respect, regardless of what background they have or how they treat you even. No matter what, just treat them with respect so when they leave from that traffic stop, maybe if they do have a bad idea of cops, that maybe they leave with a better idea.
The CSI training, for our practical senses, both those of us who will be training just to be patrol officers starting out, you really get to develop a respect, getting really into the weeds on how all that works and how difficult it can be. So going through the practical side and doing all the measurements and everything, you really get an understanding of what they work with.
You had to really pay attention to certain details. Some details that I may overlook are really important to the investigator, so it was really interesting learning what to look for, what signs you may look for in a scene. It was really interesting also to work through the certain scenarios that we were given. It was really cool to do fingerprinting, certain things like that. It was really fun to work through with the instructors.
Our wet lab for DUI class was very interesting. I would say that was one of the first times we've had like a real life experience with it, where we actually had people who were under the influence of alcohol and we could test our SFSTs on them.
I'd had a little bit of exposure with that through the Air Force, but seeing it in this scenario in a controlled environment was really great. We got some really good reactions, and I was really surprised at how much bounce there was when we were doing those in the eyes. It was interesting to work with Zach's brother. He was really awesome to work with, especially because that was our first person to work with. And he was still new to it, so he hadn't figured out all the steps of what we were going to ask, how it was going to go. So being a part of that was really fun.
It was definitely one of those moments where you have to even if someone is really intoxicated and they're being funny, they're being hilarious, you have to really you have to compose yourself. And that was one of those moments where it was kind of why I brought him in, because I knew he would make me laugh, because he always does. And I would just be like, okay, if he comes in and I can do these tests on him while he's just messing with me, I can do it on other people and I can compose myself.
I didn't mind getting hit with the taser. It wasn't, for me personally, it wasn't as painful as I thought it would be. It was more of a shock, an out-of-body experience. It was like, whoa, what is this thing? It was something that I've never experienced anything like that in my life before.
Yeah, it was one of those days where we were learning about the tasers all morning, so as it got close to the end of the day, the more you were learning, the more you were getting nervous, because you're learning about the shock and everything that's going to bring. And it was cool, it was fun, but I think I went second, and by the time it was my turn to go, I was pretty scared, but they had me locked in, ready to go. And it was painful, but it's over quick. And I think that day forward kind of brought the whole class together a little bit. We went through that together. So I think it was kind of a pivotal moment in the academy too.
Yeah, I would say the classroom and then transitioning to those scenarios has been the most beneficial, to really see how you're going to react in a situation as what has been the biggest thing for me. Because you can sit there and do PowerPoints all day, but until you're actually put in that situation and put the stress on you and see how you react is really exciting when you do the right things. And also it's a great learning curve when you don't, and you realize oh, I need to work on that, or just situationally with my heart racing now, I think completely different than when I did when I'm calm and collect taking a test.
It takes you out of the explanation part of class where it's this is how it works, and then it throws you into here's a crazy real world scenario, which could be anything. there's no end to what people could come up with for different scenarios, and you have to take that information you've learned and try your best to apply it to weird situations.
I like doing the scenarios because it's the training that we need for out there, but in the academy we can make the mistakes and learn from them. So the situations and the scenarios are a huge thing, and I love doing the scenarios just because it's one of those things where you can apply everything that you know and go from there.
Having that debrief after was exponentially important. I thought it was a lot more important than the scenarios that we actually did. It really showed us how we would react, and when you make that right decision, that little sliver of pride of, hey, I made the right choice here, and understanding, like hearing it from Officer Novacek in the back, just, yeah, way to go, just screaming, and then sometimes getting tore down because you made the wrong choice. And so learning that we had to learn that every decision we make is important.
With that debrief, it's worked really well for me because you can start picking apart each little piece. It's like, okay, this was good, you did good on this, but how could we do this better? So when we do finally hit the streets, we understand, okay, we've already done this before, this is a better way of doing it versus, just doing it by the book. There's other ways they've had experience in the field doing that this works really well for them, and that's worked well for them in the past.
It's very important for us to be able to understand and articulate when we're able to use a firearm, and how that's really, in most cases, that's our absolute last tool that we're going to use. And our biggest tool is how we communicate with people and being able to understand that. And I enjoyed learning in a safe and controlled environment to where I was able to learn the right way, and I was able to learn the Fargo way, how we do things here. And their emphasis on articulation. Can you do this? Are you allowed to do this? Not just can you, but should you? I should do a different thing. I should try this tool. I should try this. See if I can call someone, de-escalate this situation.
The department's done really well with throwing you in different scenarios with the firearms, whether that's even in the range, doing stuff behind barricades or doing it in a stressful situation, actual situations that you're going to encounter in the street, because it's not just point and shoot. It's high stress, high adrenaline situations that you don't come across every day, and they've done really well at instilling that, whether it's through scenarios or firearms training, to allow us to experience some of those emotions in high adrenaline situations. So when we finally do, if we do encounter it on the street, this isn't the first time we've been in this type of situation.
Here, you're working with people whose primary job is that topic that you're working on for the day. Like, that's what they do day in, day out. That's what their specialty is. So it's really awesome to be able to work with specific experts in those fields. Having that kind of expertise constantly teaching us and kind of educating us on everything has been excellent.
Just when they enter the academy, they don't really know each other much, just like they don't really know us. But as the academy progresses, we start to see personalities, we start to see what makes people tick, we start to see what they're interested in. And then we find those common relations, and then we can build on those to help build those mentoring relationships. A lot of times it comes back to one of our vision, mission, values of professionalism. And in there's obviously that balance where we treat people with respect and we have a job to do, but we're also human as well. And this isn't a paramilitary academy by any means. And that also fosters a learning environment that's much more better for retention in terms of when we can show that we care about them and their well-being, and take that extra time to begin to build some of those working relationships that once they transition out of PTO and as to officers, they can just grow throughout the department as well.
So the Fargo Police Academy is certified for over 450 hours with the North Dakota Post Board. So what that means is by the time they start the academy through the end, they have to go through all the various terminal performance objectives that's required by the state. If they're successful throughout the academy and complete the academy successfully and earn those 450 hours, then they move on to our police training program, which is another 16 weeks where that officer is paired up with a police training officer, where they ride with that officer every day for 16 weeks. And during the course of that training, they're evaluated throughout. By the time they graduate that police training program, the officers will have over 1,000 hours of training.
I've learned an insurmountable amount from this academy. It has gone by really, really fast. I'm very happy that I had the opportunity to go through this academy and learn how Fargo operates. It is wildly different from what I'm used to. An incredible amount of knowledge that I've been able to soak up, and I hope that I don't lose any of it.
I just have to say it was a lot different than what I expected. This academy has taught me a lot about accountability and taking accountability for your own actions, not making excuses for mistakes.
It's great seeing everybody grow, you know, for me being a little older and have a little more experience, but working with a lot of people that are a little younger and kind of coming into one of their first careers. It's been really wonderful watching people grow as a person, and you can just see people develop their decision-making skills, building confidence in themselves, communicating better. I remember we were doing speeches in the beginning of this where everybody's fumbling for a minute. Now everybody has no issues talking, and it's really been just a wonderful experience watching people grow as a person.
Excellent work. So I picked up a couple things from that video. One, I want to thank our city comms team for all the excellent work that they do in putting these productions together. They follow the recruits around from day one to the finish, and they really put together some excellent presentations so that we can push out that positive message in a number of different ways. So great job there, everyone on the comms team. Also, our department's full of subject matter experts, as mentioned in the video. So it's the TDU team. And we draw people from across the department in all the different specialty areas to come in and instruct. And so without that, again, our academy wouldn't be as robust or as complete. And the last tidbit is, I guess, as an additional benefit of being a family member, you can participate in training by drinking. But Zach, I didn't know you did that to your brother, but I'm sure it was a great learning experience. All right, so I'm gonna please welcome Lieutenant Troy Hannig. He's gonna come up. He's the lieutenant in the Training and Development Unit. And we're gonna walk through class awards and graduation certificates. And then Mayor, if you'd also come up, please. Where's your stuff?
All right, thank you, sir. All right, throughout the course of the academy, we're very fortunate. We've got a lot of subject matter experts throughout the police department, and they come and do a lot of our instruction. But among our instructors, we've got a core group of instructors in the Training and Development Unit. So I'd like to invite them up here. Sergeant Brandon Kerr, Officer Rob Essler, Sergeant Travis Berger, Officer John Novacek, and Officer Ian Christon. So on a day-to-day basis, they're the ones that are coming in early, staying late, not only to do the bulk of the instruction, but also to coach and mentor each of our recruits. And there's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that they do on a daily basis to make sure that this academy is a success. And Class 4 was no exception to that. So they did a great job. So let's give them a round of applause. So now I'm going to invite them up one at a time. We have class awards. Every year we do this. So for the first one, I'll have Sergeant Brandon Kerr come up.
So the first award is the class valedictorian. The valedictorian award is given to the student who finished with the highest grade point average. We cover a wide range of topics, and students are assessed through various practical knowledge applications and written exams, including the final post-certification test. I would like to congratulate Tyler Hawes with the valedictorian award for outstanding academic achievement during this winter academy.
Everyone else wants
All right, good morning, everyone. The next award is the PRA Award. The PRA is a Physical Readiness Assessment. It is a physical fitness test that all Academy students must pass in order to graduate the Academy. The course includes an obstacle course that is meant to imitate stress involved in a foot pursuit, a dynamic weight control machine similar to dealing with a resistive subject, and a heavy bag carry to simulate a downed officer or civilian rescue. All of these obstacles are designed to mimic tasks an officer may be asked to complete at a moment's notice. This award goes to the student who posted the fastest official time. I would like to congratulate Marquis Chance with the PRA Award for posting a time of 3 minutes and 17 seconds, over 3 minutes under the state requirement.
Firearms proficiency, familiarity, and safety is a necessity for students as they transition to their law enforcement careers. This student showed great attention to detail in regards to firearm safety, skill improvement, and overall performance. This award also encompasses 2 competition shooting drills known as the El Presidente and the Highsmith, an accuracy bullseye shoot, as well as the highest score on the Fargo Police Department's primary qualification. I would like to congratulate Jake Skelly with the Top Gun Award for his excellence in all of these areas. All right, the next award is the Top Gear Award. One course of instruction is the Emergency Vehicle Operations course, or EVOC. The course encompasses numerous skills officers need to be proficient in to be able to safely respond to emergency calls for service. During the EVOC course, students are subject to several obstacles, including a serpentine, evasive maneuver, and controlled braking. Students then race through the final challenge course, which includes the obstacles listed above, as well as some additional courses. The award is given to the student who passed the course with the fastest time and the fewest penalties, otherwise known as hitting cones. I would like to congratulate Zach Steeman with the Top Gear Award for completing the final challenge course in 1 minute and 10 seconds with no cones.
Finally, over the course of 13 weeks, excuse me, students have been constantly tested and evaluated in their performance, both academically and physically. An extremely stressful situation, to say the least. The Balboa Award is earned by the student who has displayed a constant and infectious positive attitude no matter what task they face. The student that was always prepared for the day's instruction and showed a never-quit attitude when faced with difficult situations. This student not only strived to personally improve every single day, but helped to make the people around them better as well. I'd like to congratulate Muhammad Ali with the Balboa Award for his exemplary character and determination throughout the academy.
We'll now proceed with the presentation of the class certificates. And for the first person, I'm going to let Muhammad just come right back up here before he sits down. So, Muhammad Ali. Marquis Chance. Anthony Essig. Tyler Haas. Kyla Jackson. Jeremy Ledger. Jake Skelly. Zach Steeman. Jake Wallin. All right, now I'll turn it back over to Chief Cebulski.
Okay, very good. As you can see from the bios, our officers have a variety of experiences, skills, and backgrounds. 4 different states, including from Maine to Oklahoma, 1 from another country, some with military service, some with law enforcement in the background, lifeguards, security guards, corrections, construction, welder, and plumber. Mayor, as we discuss the future police facility, we might have some help on hand, perhaps. As Fargo PD Academy number 4 graduates, we're extremely proud of all of you. All of you worked hard, committed yourself to the ideals of our profession, and successfully completed a challenging 13-week academy. Not only do you share the camaraderie of your academy class, you're always going to be FPD number 4, right? 20 years from now, that's what you're going to talk about as number 4, right? Because you'll be the veteran people on the block. But you're also part of the very first police recruit title who were hired prior to the academy. That's something that we did last year in attempts to assist with our recruitment efforts. And so over the last 13 weeks, you've transitioned from a group of random people sitting in a room to a well-prepared and dedicated team with shared values, common goals, all pulling their rope in the same direction. So congratulations on successful completion of phase 1 of a long and rewarding career with Fargo PD. You'll now take your academy team and spread it out into our larger department team as you prepare for the next phase PTO training. This will bring some additional change. You will now be known not only by your name, but your name followed by a Fargo Police Department officer. Everything you do going forward, off duty, on duty, will be viewed for better or worse from that perspective. You're joining a healthy and positive culture that is committed to our values of fairness, accountability, respect, guardianship, officer wellness, professionalism, and diversity. You now share equal parts in the safeguarding of that culture, and it is extremely important that you do so. Think about what's happened since day 1 of the academy, one of our very first conversations, where we witnessed a void of accountability and a heinous acts that occurred down in Memphis. Followed months later by the guardianship and bravery of our brothers and sisters in Nashville PD. Same state, very different organizational cultures. Our culture embraces the latter, and we all have an equal part in making sure that it stays that way. So while you're doing all those other police things, there's a larger piece out there in the back of your mind, right? That culture piece is big. Our vision, mission, values are a big part of that, and ensuring that our department remains the very best in the U.S. This is exactly why maintaining and growing that healthy and honorable organizational culture in concert with our values is so important. You continue to represent yourselves, our department, and the profession. In addition, family, peer support, and wellness are also very important for you and our culture. Family and peers help keep you grounded and assist you in your career journey. Stay in touch with your family, your friends. Wellness keeps you healthy, physically, mentally, financially, and allows you to provide excellent service to our community. If you aren't well at work, you're not going to serve the community well. So that's an important aspect. So I encourage you to engage in our department wellness and peer support programs. And as Tyler said earlier, if you need help, don't be afraid to ask. We are here for you. We are here to support you. If something's happening or you find yourself in a bad position or in some kind of a rut, please reach out. We got a lot of people out there that want to help you. So graduates, you're now a contributing member of our department team as we strive to attain our vision of a safe and unified community built on trust, accountability, and inclusion. We do this by enhancing leadership and training, strengthening community relationships, and continuing to grow a forward-thinking department. As you prepare to enter the next phase of your noble career, please remember some additional pieces of advice. Number one, you're going to need to be a leader. All of you have exhibited those skills already in the academy. But leaders need to be able to influence human behavior in order to achieve our organizational goals, which is to serve the public. And so how do we gain influence over people? There's a lot of ways that you can do it. The best ways are not about stars and bars or badges and guns or legal authority to direct people and control others. The greatest influence is gained by building relationships and treating everyone with dignity and respect. You must do this daily, both internally within our organization and most importantly with the community that you serve, the folks out on your beat. And remember, as you discussed day one, day two, Sir Robert Peel's got 9 great principles. Principle number 3 says the police must secure the willing cooperation of the public in voluntary observance of the law to be able to secure and maintain public respect. Right? The law is based on the fact that most people follow the law. And our influence and our relationships and treating them with respect give greater influence and provide for greater law following. Number 2, skepticism is healthy, right? We're in a continual adult learning environment. Your whole career, things are going to change. You're going to learn new things. There'll be changes in the law, changes in policy. So you've got to have that flexibility, and skepticism and asking questions is good. We want your questions so that you can get the answers and everyone's on the same page. But just be aware of cynicism, okay? That's deadly to our organization and our profession. There are cynics out there, people who maybe got themselves into a rut and everything is bad every day of the week. So avoid that. If you need help, get help. And remember to maintain your positivity and continue to ask questions. As long as you're doing the right things for the right reasons, I stand behind you. Number 3, never take your position for granted. Remember how excited you are today, how proud you are today, and how proud and excited your family is. You should feel that way every day when you put your uniform on and put your badge on and come to work. Some days are going to be harder than others. But when you think about it, this is a very important job. We ask a lot of you, and it's an honor to serve in this profession. So remember that. Keep those positive thoughts in your head, and remember that what you do is extremely important. Everything you do is important. Number 4, right? Nothing's insignificant. Every contact that you make out there is an opportunity to garner the trust, support, and cooperation of our community. From a casual conversation to an official investigation to a phone call, all of that is being judged by those you are having contact with. How do they see the Fargo Police Department? How do they feel we treat people? How do they feel we do our jobs? Are we competent? And there's a lot of people that come to us, many of you, even through the interview process, talked about why you wanted to join Fargo PD. And a lot of you mentioned that exact piece. The way that we do things here, the level of professionalism, the respect, the way that we have relationships with our community and the team itself is a big recruitment tool and a reason why a lot of you came here. Lastly, remember our why, our purpose. To protect the vulnerable from harm by preserving life, peace, and property in that order. As Plato famously said, in a republic that honors the core of democracy, the greatest amount of power is given to those called guardians. Only those with the most impeccable character are chosen to bear the responsibility of protecting the democracy. We talked about that day one, right? We are the de facto armed representatives of our democratic republic. And so what we do really matters out there. And you are now a guardian of our Fargo community. Policing is imperfect, right? But a noble profession. I think Tyler and I think Ian mentioned earlier, we're human. We will make mistakes, right? Again, as long as we are well-intentioned in what we're doing, we know that's going to happen. There's great risk and stress, great responsibility and expectation, but greater intrinsic reward and satisfaction. Intrinsically remembering all the good things that you do every day, because it's really easy to remember the things that didn't go well, right? Tyler talked about grace, right? Give yourself grace. You watch football, you watch sports. When the defensive end gets blown for a long pass touchdown, he comes right back up and makes the next play, and maybe even makes an interception. So remember the good work that you do, because there's a lot of it out there. We continue to be in a very challenging environment, but you're joining a resilient team dedicated to protecting our community and each other as guardians. We look forward to your future success, and we thank all of you for joining our team. So class number 4, congratulations on a job well done there. And a brief round of applause, please. Okay. So phase 2, we got to talk a little bit about our 2 promotees here that have been sitting in the weeds through this whole presentation. Captain Bill Alfelt, 22-and-a-half-year veteran, during my tenure has been a very critical part of our executive team. He was serving as a lieutenant in the newly formed Specialized Services Unit and its many components. So as part of the reorganization that was created, and Bill stepped in to take over and has done a lot of great work there across the board. He's also served as the Red River Valley SWAT Team Commander for many, many years, and was recently recognized, received the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Special Operations Training Association in Minnesota. This is truly a big award that's presented, and it's from the peers, just like the awards that the officers received today. It's a big deal. So we're really proud of him for that. He was officially promoted on March 20th, but obviously we had to push off the formal ceremony until we could do kind of a group thing. But Bill's a very good leader and decision maker. Above and beyond that, he's an exemplary follower, which all of us also need. I can rely on him to accomplish organizational goals and lead his team in a positive direction. That is extremely critical in our law enforcement environment. I can also count on Bill to always have something to say. So, which is good, because again, we have to have some skepticism and conversation, right? And so I can't think of a time where there wasn't a pause at any meeting and no one was saying anything that Bill didn't eventually crack or push something out. And it's usually very beneficial. So we really appreciate his positivity and his interactions. I recall being out on a tactical setup with him early in my tenure. It was probably November, December, kind of cold. Where they had a guy who was wanted for some felony incident. He locked his car up, papered up the windows so the TAC team couldn't see inside, and wouldn't come out. And there was a strong belief that he might be armed either with a weapon or an explosive device. So we're out at the command post, and I'm just watching Bill navigate all of this, and I'm like, okay, what are we going to do now? Well, we're gonna smash out those windows, see if we can see in. All right, good plan. So we got to, we can safely do that. We've got this new device, Chief, by the way, called the Rook. I never heard of, but it's a neat little device that allows them to, in a secured environment, it's a little, almost like a front end loader with bullet-resistant glass around it. So they can come up and they can kind of break glass. They can open things and try and give a view to the officers on the boots on the ground, rather. So they go out and they smash this glass, and they're looking. We got cameras and all kinds of stuff. Can't see the guy. And we're like, wow, what happened? Where'd this guy go? So we're talking it over and talking about what's this guy's description. Oh, he's a short, thin dude. Oh, I wonder if there's a pull out there in the back seat and he's got himself secreted in the trunk. So how are we going to get him out of there? Because that's kind of a dangerous tactical situation. So now we take the Rook and carefully insert and kind of pull back that metal, and eventually just kind of like removing your pieces of wood from your wood pile. When you get to the end, the mice run out. So finally they pulled it back far enough, and here this guy just came popping out, surrendered, and was taken into custody without incident. But a very well managed and executed plan. They could have done a lot of other things maybe that would have been more aggressive, but they had concern in terms of not only the officer's safety, but ensuring that we could place this individual in custody without injury, and they did a great job on that. So again, Bill's done tremendous work at our department over many years, and really look forward to his leadership in the Criminal Investigations Division. Next, we have Tom Shaw, a near 20-year veteran of our department, sergeant for the last 11 years. He's done a number of things as well, you can see in his bio. And he most recently assigned to our Professional Accountability Unit, also a difficult area to work because they're doing all of the internal investigations in our department. But Tom, really handles that well in terms of, again, relationships and making sure that things are properly investigated. When I kind of look at Tom, I just feel like he's like the calm, under pressure kind of guy with, good emotional intelligence. And So when this lieutenant list that he's on was created, it was the end of 2021. It came out in November of 2021, early in the month. So one of the things I do with lieutenants and above, and we provide feedback on all our processes, but for the lieutenant and above, I also meet with them and let them know how they did on the list, take any questions, what they thought of the process, that type of thing. So it's around November 12th, 13th that I met with Tom. And you know, promotional processes, everyone wants to be on the top of the list and get promoted today, right? We all know the realities of that is there's only a few spots. I mean, spots open up over time, and that's great. And Tom wasn't on the very top of the list. So, you know, that's always a tough conversation. So I sat down, told Tom, you know, asked him his questions and told him where he was on the list. And, you know, there was a pause. He just kind of calmly looked at me and uttered, "Oh, poop." I'm like, okay, now I had never had that reaction before, but it was very, very calm and controlled. He was good about it. But then just a few days later, on November 17th, we had an active shooter incident that our officers were sent to. This was on a day shift at a business just west of the station. Comes over as an active shooter. No one knows what's going on. Pretty chaotic, pretty stressful. So who's over there immediately leading the charge, setting up incident command, and running that operation expertly? Tom Shaw, the poop guy, right? Right there, again, just demonstrating his character and competence. Again, and it's that kind of positive attitude that we're looking for in our department. Tom's displayed that, as Bill has as well, over many years. So both of them are valued and respected members of the department, and we're excited to promote both of them. Tom's going to be taking over as our shift commander on the night shift and patrol. And I know that both of you recognize how important that divisional and shift leadership are, and they're very difficult. But again, your character and competence coupled with effective communication, accountability, and genuine caring for your personnel are required. Both of you have exhibited those qualities many times over. I know you'll continue to lead by example and be a positive force for our departments. Congratulations, Tom and Bill. Okay, now, lastly, before we do this fun pinning of the badge part, it's important for, I think, everyone to understand what the badge means, because it's not just an adornment that we wear on our uniform. The badge started really with the ancient Romans, the centurions, the guardians, who had those big shields they carried in their left arm when they were protecting the city, right? Left arm, most vulnerable area of your body, all the good stuff over here, including your heart. As law enforcement progressed, things got smaller, right? And as law enforcement became a thing in America, we went from that big shield down to a badge, also still referred to as a shield, placed over your heart, okay? Because to be a good public servant, you have to serve from the heart. Not only is the shield protecting, but it's a reminder of where you should be coming from, right? Have the passion and the commitment to do the job, serve from your heart, make good decisions, don't tarnish the badge, right? It's a symbol of public trust and authority. On top of the badge, where's Liam Halverson? What's on top of the badge? You remember? The eagle, right? See, he knows that. That's good. Okay, there's an eagle on top of our badge. That would make sense because that's our nation's symbol. But actually, there's greater symbolism to the eagle and why it's on our badge. There's a lot of symbolism between what eagles do and what we do in law enforcement. To start with, eagles nurture their young. They teach them how to fly. So we've got a really adept group of police training officers in our department that take on that task. So they're like their initial leader eagles as they nurture the new officers and try to teach them how to fly. And so what eagles do is eventually when they think the little eaglet's ready to roll, they give them a push out of the nest and, you know, watch what happens. And if they eventually fly, we're good to go. If they flop in a tailspin, they don't let them crash. They swoop down, get the eagle, bring it back into the nest. More training, okay? If they successfully fly, they reward them with food, which is why we give cops donuts and or bagels or whatever the food of the generation is, okay? But the key is they don't let the eaglets fail. And our PTOs and our department's not going to let any of you fail or anyone else to the best of our ability. Eagles work and hunt in pairs. We often work in teams and groups doing what we do. Eagles have incredible vision. We need that as well, especially for those of us working at night to identify problems. Strong talons to grasp prey. And when there is a storm, eagles, unlike the rest of the nature world, lock their wings and fly to the storm. Just what we do when we get a call for service. We don't know what that call is. We don't know what's going to happen. We really don't have much information at all. Just like the active shooter that ended up being a double homicide, the shooter was gone before we got there, but no one knew that. We had to approach it from that perspective and do all those things correctly. And so, just like eagles, all of us are flying to the storm. After the storm is over, they settle back down and resettle. So, a lot of importance to the badge and what it means, and when we pin it on, not only that symbol of public trust, but what does the eagle represent, and what do we represent in our profession? Okay. You good, Liam? All right, so now you know about the eagle. Okay. All right, so we're going to move along to the badge pinning portion, and we will invite each individual up with their chosen either significant other or chosen person that is going to pin their badge on. We're going to have them come up, get their photo, and then once you get your badges, the officers are going to go behind the blue tables, and our promotees will come up. We'll do them last, and we'll have an oath of honor, and we'll be into the photo part. So let's start with our new recruits here, Muhammad Ali, and his badge will be pinned on by Sergeant Brandon Kerr. This is good for everyone that follows. Sometimes it's tricky. There's no pressure, right? Nice job. Okay, Marquis Chance and his mother, Linda. You got your glasses. Yeah. Great. Anthony Essig and his wife, Kaylee. Tyler Hawes and his wife, Madison. Jackson and her wife Abby. Jeremy Ledger and his daughter Ryan. Jake Skelly, Officer Rob Esler. Zach Steeman and his father Vance. Jake Walleen and his father Jeff. Captain Bill Alfelt and his wife Stephanie. And Lieutenant Tom Shaw, his wife Kayla, and the threesome of Henry, Liam, and Charlie. Good work. Okay, one last piece of official business. We're going to administer the law enforcement oath of honor to everyone with their new badges. If you'd all raise your right hand, please. Repeat after me. On my honor, I will never betray my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will treat all individuals with dignity and respect and ensure that my actions are dedicated to ensuring the safety of my community and the preservation of human life. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. I will always maintain the highest ethical standards and uphold the values of my community and the agency I serve. All right, congratulations, everyone. I present to you our new officers, new captain, new lieutenant. Thank you very much. While they are signing that, once they're done, they're going to move to the front of the table. We will do our traditional PD reception line, all of our staff and folks. We're going to run everyone from this side over here and across. After that, we'll have our command staff photos, and then we'll turn this over for anyone in the audience who would like to take photos, family photos, etc. So thank you in advance for coming. I appreciate it. It was a little bit longer with everything going on, but I think important that we recognize all the great work of these folks. So let's give one more round of applause, please.